Good evening, everybody. True Serum Nation, make sure we got everything going right here. Good evening, everybody. If you're new here, I like to tell the stories, hang out, and the show must go on, and we're just gonna keep the train going. And Joel, good to have you in here. I got the coffee, I got the caffeine, I got the nicotine. So I appreciate the people that are gonna come in live and the people that'll watch this after. So go get something, hang out. I always say I don't think it's gonna be a marathon, but it ain't gonna be 3 hours and it's not gonna be 2 hours. I know that much. Hey Deb. So let's wait a minute. And well, I've been watching Dom CiCALE and very interesting. Him and Joey Merlino, of course, they go at it. I call it MOBTUBE soap opera, but they truly hate each other. They truly hate each other. I mean, they do. I mean, my guess is they truly hate each other. And Dom CiCALE, okay, he cooperated. He's all right. He's so sick about that he had to cooperate that he overcompensates on his channel, and they're insulting him in the chat, and he overcompensates it and says, "I know he don't have to do that." Well, let's just look at the MOBTUBE landscape. Mike Franzese, what's he like? Siskel and Ebert now? He's like doing movie. He's a movie critic now. That's all right. Mike Franzese is riding off into the sunset. Sammy the Bull Gravano, he's just recycled stories times 100. Dom CiCALE, I believe, will just keep rising up his channel. He'll just keep rising up. So you're going to see people engaging with him because he's the new kid on the block. And just because he ratted doesn't mean that he wasn't a treacherous guy in the streets. I think there's a misconception on MOBTUBE soap opera that they just think a guy that ratted or something, well, that he can't handle himself, and now he's trying to have some kind of promotion for some fight. Listen, Dom, you'll never watch this in a million years. There'll never be a fight. The feds would come in and say, no way anyways, but you ain't fighting this Luna, this Luna. He's just a hack. He's just hyping the game. He's just, and you're hyping it. It's good content, but ain't nobody, because Dom said he'll fight all of them in the ring at once, and Dom would smash them all out. Dom would smash all newcomers out. So there's never gonna be a fight. There's never gonna be a purse to fight. It's all good entertainment and hype. And I mean, and Joe Dom's pissed off at his family, his sisters or whatnot. And I don't want to talk about people's but this is what he says it right on his show, because is there anything left sacred on the MOBTUBE rodeo? But he's mad because I guess Joey Merlino petitioned them to get information on Dom. There ain't nothing you could tell on Dom that'll make Dom feel bad. But so I imagine when Dom was in his heyday and he was rocking and rolling, I imagine that Dom took care of everybody. But now Dom is wealthy, I would guess. He's wealthy, and what? His family members are money hungry, or they're just jealous, and so they're gonna sell some of the juice on Dom to Joey Merlino. There ain't nothing you could say on Dom CiCALE. I mean, whatever, there might have been some motley looking people in those crews, but Dom's undaunted by that. He's undaunted by all that. And I mean, Joe Merlino does his channel, does his Patreon, don't tell any stories. So Dom, I'm in agreement with that too. And Dom's very entertaining, and he gets animated, and they get him going in the comments. It's all entertainment, but there ain't gonna be, you got that Luna there. Yeah, I know a big guy promoter. Yeah, okay, Luna. Yeah, okay, the Luna eclipse. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you got a big millionaire behind you. Everybody's got a big millionaire behind them. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you'll arrange it. You'd get 5% of them. Yeah, okay. It'll never happen. It'll never happen in a million years. Never. Never. Uh-uh. No. Mm-mm. So Dom's family, I would call it betrayal. Forgive me, Dom. He'll never watch this anyways. But you go to Joey Merlino and try to offer tidbits that Joey Merlino could play the soap opera game and try to say something about Dom CiCALE. Dom CiCALE will tell you himself. He overcompensates and he tells you himself. So, as far as that goes, Dom, you're only as good as your last $100 bill. You're handing all that money out while you're on top. You're handing all that money out. But when the smoke clears, you're only as good as that last 100. Then they sell you out to another guy so he could get some juice on a MOBTUBE soap opera. So I agree with Dom on that, because that's it's personal and stuff, but he put it out there. So I don't blame him for saying that. I don't. And yeah, well, Dom CiCALE was a rat. Yeah, he's a rat. Well, look at these coffee boys made bosses and underbosses, and Dom CiCALE got just sick of it. Dom CiCALE, the mafia was going downhill. The ship was sinking, and he was the captain. But that ship wasn't worth it anymore. That ship wasn't worth it. It turned into a complete joke. They were making coffee boys and non-qualified people to hold positions. You're supposed to go out and hustle the streets and hand your money up to some of these clowns. Look at some of these characters that are supposed to have mob hierarchy in the recent mob. Really? I might have talked a lot of smack, but I give Dom CiCALE credit for that. I give him credit. He was smart enough to say, let me get out of here. Everybody's going to rat on each other anyways. Let me get the hell out of here. This game is over. This game is over. He hedged his bets. He's a thinker, and he said, let me get out. Well, there's a couple guys that might get out, but that whatever happens in the future, he's got to deal whatever part of that. But my guess is, I don't think anybody's going to come at Dom CiCALE, because you better not be wrong. You better not be wrong. Because like he said, he'll leave you in the street. He will leave you in the street. So they can play the soap opera mob thing. But at the end of the day, a guy that's done time, he wants to get out. He probably feels like that life ain't worth it anymore anyways. I mean, you tap out like in the UFC, you tap out. That's enough. Go on, live your elder years and enjoy. The game is over. The mob game is over. Well, the families are this or that. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying that. At MOBTUBE, Mike is fizzling out. Good old Mike. Sammy's fizzled out. Joy Merlino, you got to pay for a tenth of a story. So that's all. Whoever his handlers are said, yeah, get up there. It's a hustle. Grab what you can grab. But at some point in time, I think Joy Merlino's just going to say, hey, Snuff, I had enough of this. I had enough of this. YouTube, MOBTUBE, soap opera. I think Joy Merlino's the kind of guy that's just going to say, I'm done with this. I don't need this soap opera going back with a guy over here, over there, getting in junior high school arguments. Because let me tell you, if they were serious about it, one of them would have searched each other out by now. It's entertainment. It's entertainment. It's hype. Because these are two guys that did a lot of work. And for us, these are the kind of guys that never talk smack, They just went and did the job. But all you hear is this soap opera. So if that right there should tell you that the first time somebody got sideways, and they're talking personally about people's they're talking about personal family things, you know. They're talking about personal family members. It's crazy. Personal stuff. I don't know. You know, I mean, I thought some things were less sacred, but apparently not. I don't know. But they're going real far, and I believe that somebody would have searched somebody out by now. Somebody would have searched somebody out by now. I mean, for as rugged as these guys were in the life, for as rugged, I mean, they're talking about men with men, you know, and you look at Mike Mancuso, but that's Exhibit A. You know, I mean, it is what it is, and all that. I never seen this Dudley Do-Right, Mama Luke, and Dom CiCALE is correct. So you got to be loyal to them kind of guys. These straight up Mama Luke guys. I could see I can look at these different things and now reach a conclusion that I don't blame Dom CiCALE at all. These Mama Luke bosses and underbosses and these guys that rose up after the heyday of the mob, they're not the gangsters I used to know. Like I said, they were the coffee boys, and I was a coffee boy. I was a runner. I could have made captain if I was in the other family. I might have made boss. And these straight up weirdos that are doing questionable types of things. I don't want to say, but fruity pie kind of stuff. With all that being said, and weighing all the evidence, the internal evidence, the external evidence, the government, the structure of the families, I don't blame Dom CiCALE one bit. I don't blame him one bit. I don't blame him one bit. His channel is going to rise and continue to rise. I think Jordan Merlino is just going to tap out and just say he don't want to do enough. What do you got to pay $25? You got to pay for a half a story. It's old. And then they're selling cars in the parking lot and watches. That's old. If he's got somebody that's funding that channel, sooner or later they're going to say, can it? Can that channel? Can that channel? That's all. I've told more mob stories in 2 days than they've told in a month. For free. And you got to pay for that. Wow. I'm the brokest guy on YouTube, but I enjoy hanging out and I enjoy doing it. So he's not going to last long. Sammy the Bull, all that is recycled stories, whatever. Mike Franzese, he's a movie critic now, and he's got Mob Movie Monday, and God bless him, he's doing his thing. There ain't really a guy out there that, for the mob genre, that, you know, was an active member in a family. I never got made. I didn't want to get made. No. I used to be at the club, and I would sit there, and maybe one of the associates or somebody or crew guy would be in there, and I'd see a captain or somebody, and he'd be like a little whatever. Maybe he was from the Bananos. I don't know. And I would say, yeah, Jim, yeah, I'm gonna go hustle the streets and give my money to that creep. Yeah, I'm gonna go hustle the streets and risk my life, risk going to jail. For this Mama Luke over here. Yeah, I figure that's what I want to do. Yeah. How do I take the oath? Yeah. The oath and all that didn't mean nothing with what they did to it thereafter. Yeah. These characters that they put out on media or whatever, you could access it, of these members of these families. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing when you look at these pictures of these Mama Luke, Fruity Pie, whatever the hell they are. Dom CiCALE saw it coming, and he said, yeah, I got to do what I got to do. So I look at it through a different lens when it comes to Dom CiCALE, because he was a rough house in the streets. I think, like I said, people think that just because somebody read it, that like they're lightweight. Now they're talking about, oh, they want to buy Dom CiCALE with one arm behind his back will whoop all those guys. Luna, everybody, Luna, Merlino, Snuff, anybody. The guy's a monster. And of course, no one, not to insult Dom. He'll never watch this. Dom CiCALE will never watch this, but not to insult or anything like that. But he's strong. He looks like he could be a rough customer if that sciatica doesn't kick in. But people also get strength because they got crazy strength from their mind. Like adrenaline, crazy strength from their mind. So number one, you got to deal with his physical strength. And then number two, you got to deal with that crazy strength where they see red. They'll see red, and then they're just their mind is set, and that's that. They won't come back to planet Earth until a half hour later. Hey, Johnny D, Wyatt Earp. So yeah, I would hate to test that guy because he's got physical strength, and not to insult, because I seen guys that were average weight, but they got this crazy strength of adrenaline, and they're taking punches and they don't feel it. They get crazy, and then they can just pay attention to whatever they got in their head, So them guys ain't gonna do nothing. I don't understand how, if the story is correct, I don't understand on how the women, the sisters or something around Dom, what did Merlino have to give them for them to like try to give some secrets on Dom? Like what was the price? What was the price? Joey, you want to hear some stuff on Dom? What did they give him? I mean, what did Joey give those women that, like, why? Because Dom wasn't handing them out $100 bills? Why? So now they're peed off, and so they see this MOBTUBE soap opera, and they're like, well, why don't we just go tell Joey Merlino some secrets about Dom? Dom could care less. Dom could care less. Wow. You're only as good as your last $100 bill. And then they're all running to the enemy. Then they run to the enemy. Yeah. Johnny D says, I got to admit, Merlino started with Dom first. Yeah, because their channel's tanking. They need a soap opera, and they want to pay for Patreon. I don't even believe that channel will be on. What's up, Irish Jimmy Joe? Joel Gold. Wyatt Earp, how you feeling? So I think Joey Merlino's the kind of guy, or whoever's the money people behind him, are going to say, we've had enough of this freaking junior high school stuff. Because if there's true gangsters at a higher level somewhere, a real gangster at some point in time is going to be like, yeah, I'm not going to show play that high school thing, and they're doing insults on personal family members, and then they're talking about whether somebody is fruity or not. For what? He's in the parking lot selling cars. They're selling watches. They don't tell a story unless you get your credit card out. So where are they going? Where's their channel going? Joy Merlino, you were high up. Didn't you make other decisions in the mafia, Joy Merlino? Couldn't you analyze things, Joy Merlino, to see that you're stalling out? You're stalling out. Can't you foresee things that your channel is and will tank? Because them suckers that got their credit cards out, they don't even get a story. They get a half a story. Tank. So there's one off the list. Mike Franzese, he's chilling. God bless him. You know, even during I had a hard crisis time way back when, he was compassionate to me. I said a lot of stuff, but he was compassionate to me. So Mike is doing his thing, and he's doing Mob Movie Monday. You know, he's a movie critic now. He's like Siskel and Ebert. So let Mike do his thing. Sammy the Bull, the same recycled stuff out there. So Dom CiCALE's the only guy really left. Dom CiCALE's the last man standing. As far as whatever, I don't know. There's other guys out there, you know, Gotti's guy and all that with Roger and RJ Roger. They do their thing, you know, but there's not a lot left. You know, Mikey Scars, you know, there's not a lot of people left. So yeah, Dom tries to sell. Yeah, he's selling everything, stock market, stock broker, real whatever. But you know, it's just part of the thing. He has a right to try to promote and sell. But there's not going to be any boxing match between Snuff and whatever they're talking about. Luna, I couldn't watch Luna for 5 seconds. And they all claim to have all these they all claim to have these big, maybe they do. They got the gift of gab. They could probably con somebody out of their socks and underwear, out of their underwear. Angel Gotti was cool with me. So was Shades, and so was MRE. They were cool way back, a long time ago. That's when I was a cup of JoJo. They were cool on the 6-way screen. Yeah. You know. So, what are you gonna do? The Scorpion. Who's this grandpa and what crew is he? I'm in your mother's crew. That's what crew I'm in. Look, they can't take the pressure over there, these people. They can't take the pressure. I'm in the where the hell is it? So I know Joey Merlino and them, they have to sell, right? They have to sell. But Dom, he'll give you stuff. He'll give you stories and this and that. But I was watching and I'm thinking he's got to be careful because he was pretty graphic about what he said he was going to do to Joy Merlino. You know, he was pretty graphic about saying if he ever caught up to Joy Merlino, man, he'd come right out there and said it in front of everybody. Well, I know he said he'll leave people in the street and stuff like that, but geez, holy cow. I think it bothers Dom that he cooperated so much. It really bothers him psychologically. It really bothers him. But he don't need to look at the comments because he gets a lot of insults in there. You get the trolling comments and stuff like that. And he goes, yeah, I know. He don't have to do that. Just tell the stories and do whatever you got to do. But he don't have to do that anymore. Dom, there's nobody left on YouTube. All the dinosaurs are leaving. Joy Merlino will be done before long. There's nobody left. There ain't nobody left. Nobody. So just do your thing. There's not going to be a 4-on-1 fight. There ain't going to be a 4-on-1 fight with Joy Merlino, Snuff, and whoever the hell it is. There ain't going to be any bets. There ain't going to be, Yeah, it's always entertainment. I mean, it's always entertaining because sooner or later on Dom's show, he melts down. He melts down. He can't take the pressure. He melts down, and then he's but he said some pretty graphic stuff, like as far as what he wants to do with Joey Merlino. Geez, I mean, holy cow. I mean, I respect Joey Merlino, yeah. But this YouTube soap opera and Patreon game, it ain't looking good on it. You're going through all this big time gangster. You're going through all this junior high school for entertainment purposes on a YouTube channel. You can't be that broke. I don't know. He's got a big money guy. Well, sooner or later, that guy's going to say, turn it off. We're playing junior high school games with this guy Dom over here. We're threatening each other. What? If you got enough money, you don't need that anymore. Dom does it as a hobby, and he tries to clear his name up too. Dom CiCALE, he tries to clear his name up too. And you know what? The way the mob was going down, I don't blame him. And I've said many things about rats and everything else, but that the mafia of that day didn't look like the mafia of when I was running around some of them guys. It was night and day. It was night and day. I caught it. I caught it when it was just starting to build up. All the cooperation, all the bosses and captains were undercover. They were CIs. Bosses and captains. You want to join a crew in one of the families when it's common knowledge that bosses and captains were playing both sides of the fence? So Dom CiCALE's thinking about all this. I mean, there's nobody left that you can trust, and you're being a loyal guy to these defunct families that are going down. They're sinking. Dom CiCALE's a lot smarter than people might give him credit for. That guy is a smart thinker. He's a smart thinker. He's just not some Guido tough guy. Yeah. I'm going to kick your butt. I'm going to kick your butt or anything like that. No, this guy is a thinker. He's a thinker. And he's right. He's right when he shows the pictures about these clowns that held high positions in these families. He's right. They're Mama Lukes. They look weird. They look fruity. He's right. And he was right to bail, haul butt, and get the hell out of there. Because the complexion of the mob was done. Yeah. Go do life for them, Dom. Yeah, go do life for those Mama Lukes. Go do life. Yeah, go do life. Go do life for these Mama Lukes that couldn't carry the coffee in the clubs of the old days. Yeah. I don't know much about the Bonanno Genovese. I think they were cross-pollinated, but whatever the hell, Lucchese, I don't know. But I've seen these pictures, and these guys, embarrassing. Like, and as if the Colombo family wasn't bad enough. As if the Colombo family was if I say anything about Bonanno, Lucchese, or anything, but the people other than the higher up, the shadow people, which I have explained before, the shadow characters were in another field of excellence. But as far as the Colombo family, and even my godfather telling me as a senior citizen about stuff like what the Colombo family was just it was just sketched out. It was sketched out. How many people are playing both sides of the fence? We will never even know. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. It might be safe to say that there's prominent historical people in the 5 mob families, okay? And we will never know if some of them were playing both sides of the fence. We'll never know. Well, there was a boss, an underboss, a captain, a capo, all this, and so sometimes the public, Joe Blow public, will just never know. But it might be safe to say that I bet you there was a 1 or 2 or 3 or how many that were on the government payroll, that were prominent members of high up families. Because when they seen that these people in these high places, they were smart enough to see that the mob was crumbling. You can't win. They're handing out life sentences like candy on Halloween. So what are they gonna? What's their strategy gonna be? Well, listen, we'll look the other way. You can run some of your enterprises, and we'll just coexist together. And you got to let us know on some juice. You got to give us some juice. So you don't think that happened historically in the mob? I think the old man was playing both sides of the fence. I hate to say, because you can't be 70 something years old during that era and not have given the government any information. You're not dead in the ground and you're not doing life in prison. You're 70 something years old. You had to give the freaking government a Scooby snack here or there. So it's safe to say that if you're just guessing or whatever, but it's safe to say that of course it took place. Who's that one guy that was that one prominent guy they found out after a million years that he was a CI? Yeah. And we're not even going to get in to how dirty the government could play too. I don't want to do any of that. But just how dirty they could be. They could be real cutie pies too on whatever the hell's going on too. But you know what I mean. So it all became a convoluted mess, paranoia, everything else. Dom CiCALE looked at the writing on the wall and said, I'm done with this. I'll tell them what they want to know. I'm done with this, whatever these enterprises are called. Yeah, because they say, well, it still exists. You know, the 5 families are still existing. Well, that's just, yeah, maybe the 5 families exist, but it ain't at a level. It ain't at a level of anything. What are the rackets? Well, yeah, well, the truth serum, the 5 families are running strong in New York. Well, what are they running? What are they? You could go to the pharmacy and they'll write you out anything you want. There's crooked doctors that could write you better stuff that you can get on the streets. The loan sharking. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, really, loan sharking. Yeah, you're gonna pay a whole family and a crew and everything else off of loan sharking. What is there? Sports betting? There's 85 casinos and online and TV. What's their racket? What's their racket? These prominent members. And then if they show any current members, they look sketched out, Mama Luke. And in my day, they couldn't carry the coffee. They couldn't carry the coffee to a soldier. That's all. That's all there is to it. You know what family flew under the radar for a long time? The Marcello family. I know because I was born and raised there. The Marcello, I knew Marcellos, but just not 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 involved in anything. Good Italian family. Yeah, I went to yeah. What are they gonna do? Strong arm? Who the hell is the mob gonna trust to lend somebody 5,000, 10,000? And then you got to chase the guy for it. You got to chase the guy for the money. So loan sharking ain't in the play unless they got some degenerate gambler that's losing, and then they let him bet, and it's a guy that makes unless they got a guy like there. I know some guys that they just take 5 or 10 high rollers, even though the casinos are open and there's online gambling. But, you know, I know somebody that might just take some high rollers, and it's all high numbers. They're all high numbers, and it's very easy. It's very structured. But even with that being said, this guy's a lone ranger. He don't have a crew. He ain't paying. Where's his security? Where's that? Logically speaking, structurally speaking, well, how many members are in these families that are supposed to be running strong today in New York? Well, what's their payroll? A $10 bill a week? And anybody that's got brains to do high-tech crime, they're not going to share it with a family. If you got a hustle or a racket that's going to be a moneymaker, why share it with the family? You know, high-tech crime. Why share it with Mama Lukes that sit around all day? So I'm not buying into that. They still might have the structure of a boss and an underboss and a 3-member crew, Johnny, and stuff like that. Just so they could sit and play cards at a club and talk about the games, whether they won or lost on the sports games and all the bad beats they took. Come on, man. 5 families. What's their hustle? What's their hustle? What are the families? They got 5 members. What are the 5 families in New York? What are their members? It's all over, Johnny D. It's all over. Yeah. Yep. Well, that's cool. Yep. Rico. One word. Rico. One word. That's that. It all crumbled. And Dom CiCALE was a faithful, loyal, hardcore dude. And he saw it, and he was like, for these Mama Lukes, look at that guy that he calls the washway maiden. Look at that guy. He looks like Dudley Do-Right. Yeah. I've said a lot about RatTube. I've said a lot but I swing both, you know, I try to swing to this guy, swing over here to see what he says, and you know, we do have to look at the factual stuff that went down. We have to look at what was going on, what was happening, and then make an assessment about some of these things. But Dom CiCALE was dedicated to rise them up and I tell you, that family was rolling off of that money. That family was rolling from his actions and his loyalty. Yeah, they're all running around. Yeah. He's handing them all this money. And then when the smoke clears, they're Mama Lukes. They don't care. And he said, well, I got to do what I got to do. Why stand up and be loyal to these Mama Lukes that are running around? And he shows the pictures of some of these guys. Those are the kind of guys that they wouldn't even let in a club. What's up, Bonzo? How you feel, bud? Those guys he's showing of his generation, them guys couldn't get near our club. They couldn't get near our club. No. So on all these different PowerPoints, we'll say, on these PowerPoints, I don't blame them. When you look collectively at everything that was going on, I don't blame him. And as far as doing his channel, he does it good. He'll tell the stories. It's more than Mike Franzese is doing. It's more than Sammy the Bull Gravano's doing. It's more than Joey Merlino's doing with the credit card and the snuff and the watches and selling cars. So right now, Dom CiCALE is the best on there. and he's telling stories. Yeah, he sells. I talk smack about, you know, I talk smack about he sells, now he's a stock market broker and well, yeah, he's got a right to sell, you know. But as far as I'm looking at it in this genre on YouTube, he's the last man standing. He's the last man standing. And he was high up ranking person in a family. He's the last man standing. And if you really want to weigh it out, Mike Franzese was a captain. We all know about what his title of a captain. Dom CiCALE is 50 times the captain in true definition than poor Mike Franzese will ever be. Dom CiCALE, in definition, is 1,000 times more of the captain than Mike Franzese with his million subscribers, but God bless Mike Franzese. It is what it is. So with that PowerPoint, all the channels are going to try to make money. Yes. Everybody's selling something. All those channels, they're all selling something. Yes. But what the hell? The viewers want to hear some stories. I've told 10,000 stories. The people still want to hear some juice. So, I mean, but they convinced, and Dom CiCALE, he won't want this, but who were those women that went to Joy Merlino and trying to tell secrets about Dom? What? And Dom was ranting on it. Dom was ranting. So what, were they pissed off that Dom wasn't greasing their palms? Or look at Dom, the women around Dom, I don't know, no disrespect, but the women around Dom, the sisters or whoever they were, they're going, look at Dom, he's making all this money, he ain't giving us any. Well, oh, there's Joy Merlino over there, let's tell him some secrets on Dom. What? And no disrespect, because I know that's Dom's family and everything, and how's that happen? So what Joy Merlino and Snuff do? Go, here's a $20 bill. Tell us some secrets about Dom. Dom will tell you everything, but Dom, he'll tell you everything anyways. Dom's gonna throw down. He'll tell you anything anyways, as far as that goes. He'll tell you anything anyways. But, I mean, family, of course, that must have hurt his feelings personally. I got family members going, talking about some types of secrets on our family or me or this or that. For what? What do you think those chiselers, Joey Merlino and Snuff, how much do you think they bought them for? They bought them girls for a $50 bill. He bought, I don't mean to talk smack down, but he bought those females in your family. He bought them for 50 or whatever he gave them. What were they going to say? A big revelation about Dom CiCALE? Here's a big revelation, So Joey Merlino keeps threatening that he's going to tell the big revelation, but get your credit card out. You're never going to hear it. Get your credit card out, and you're gonna find out on Patreon. That smoke and mirrors, that 3-card money and all that, that's done with your bait and switch and all that. Your bait and switch, that's done. It's all done. Yeah. They went on call, Chitlets, Snuff talking smack. Oh, okay. They went on call. Wow. I'll tell you one thing. I'd be more afraid of Dom CiCALE than Joy Merlino. And Joy Merlino ain't no joke. But at the end of the day, Dom CiCALE, when that mind flips over, when he sees red and he snaps, that's that. It'll never happen. That's soap opera kind of stuff. But you're talking about personal family members. What the heck? I mean, is anything left sacred? I don't know. Joy Merlino, he's got a good story coming up tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. And then if you pay the money on Patreon, he's going to give you a little tidbit of the story. The hustle's over. That hustle's over. The people will be jumping ship left and right. How much can he get their credit cards for? He's got some big operator behind him. He's got some, he must have some big guy, some big money guy. Now, with all due respect, because we got to look at stuff from all different angles. Joy Merlino didn't rat, okay? There's probably some very, very wealthy people from his past that owe him. They weren't in jail. They were out accumulating their wealth while Joy Merlino was in jail. So they owe Joy Merlino. They owe him. They were free. They had their freedom because Joy Merlino didn't rat. So they spent time with their children growing up. They spent time going on vacations. They spent time living a happy, normal, wealthy life. So there might be markers out there that Joy Merlino they say, we'll give you whatever you want. We'll give you whatever you want. Some very, very wealthy people. Because there were a lot of wealthy people inside the mob and outside the mob. And I'll tell you one thing, when they took Joy Merlino in, they must have been shaking in their boots. And he didn't rat. So I don't know when the well gonna run dry. Yeah. Merlino on VLAD show, you see that, Joe? Oh, yeah. What's up, Damon Walker? So when you look at things like that, but Joy Merlino's up there selling everything, Patreon. He's selling like he's broke. He's selling like he's broke. Unless these people gave him lump sums of money and he blew it, well, we all lose money gambling or whatever. But speculation. But the channel's going to tank. The channel is just going to tank. People can't afford. I tell a lot of stories for free, whether people like them or they're entertaining or not. But I try to sell a book and get a Cash App or a Super Chat here or there. But I rock on. I know I got aggravated the other day. Please forgive me. I'm human too. I got aggravated about doing members only for story. I gotta forgive me. I get aggravated too, but so thank you, Johnny D. Angelo didn't rat, but you got to remember, everybody passed away from back then. Everybody passed away. I'm 61. Them guys were older than me. The rest of them guys, there's no envelopes waiting for Angelo when he got out. There might be a grandson or a child of respect from the family that just out of, maybe they might say that's Uncle Ange. He finally got out when he was a little boy. Now the guy's an adult. And maybe these guys might be wealthy in their vocation and occupation, but they might say, help him out a little just for his loyalty, because there could still be generations of people that, they know what happened. They seen what went on. So maybe in good faith, he's got family member too, and a niece and stuff like that, but to help him out. But there ain't any millionaires waiting for him when he gets out of, when he got out of prison. There's no millionaires waiting for him to put him up in the Taj Mahal. He's just got his family members. He's older. He's feeling better. And they're just going to put him, But Joy Merlino, who was way up in the hierarchy, there's got to be 50 people he didn't rat on. 50 people that were shaking in their boots when they hauled Joey Merlino in. But how 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 far will this money line, how far will this money last? Is it unlimited? But he's selling everything on Patreon to tell a half a story. He's selling everything like he's broke, but there's wealthy people behind him, so he don't care. Just let's do a YouTube channel and let's grab whatever we can grab. We ain't even gonna tell many stories, but let's grab the suckers. Well, that's of course how gangsters think. Let's just grab the suckers with their credit card. You know, we ain't gotta tell too many stories. Let's just grab the suckers. That's all. Yeah, they're going back and forth, but you know what? I think Joey Merlino, he's got money from some backer. He's going to the racetrack. He's do gambling. At the end of the day, I think Joey Merlino will just get sick of this back and forth and be like, "Nah, why do I got at this point of his life? Why does he want to entertain that stuff?" Because if he was serious about it, somebody would try to search somebody out. Back in the life, when these guys were back in the life, and there was half of this conflict, somebody would get smashed. So, you know, yeah. So, how much will they put up with the gibberish back and forth and stuff like that? Me personally, anybody can pull a trigger. Anybody could pull a trigger, but and not to insult anybody about their frame of mind and their frame of thinking, but you know, of course they're both capable. They've been capable. It's proven they've both been capable in their past lives. But who would get peed off to an extent where I'm gonna go search this guy out and freaking pound his face and they don't need it. If you're set up, you did your time, you did all this and that. You don't want any violence or any charges at this point in your life. You want to go to the racetrack with your wealthy people and enjoy life. Enjoy. Considering you did all that time in jail, go enjoy. You want to play junior high school games with people on MOBTUBE? Really? No. Now, why are you going to play junior high school games with people? And even if it is legitimate, even if they don't like each other, and even if it's just a soap opera, what is it worth? Merlino's got backers. Dom CiCALE's a very smart businessman, very, very smart entrepreneur. He's not longing for any money. He's very smart in many fields of finance, Dom CiCALE. So he ain't jonesing. He just took up, I think he did this channel, more or less, Dom CiCALE's motivation to do that channel was to make the people understand why he read it. Because psychologically, if you're a forensic psychologist or just anybody on the street, you could see just how much it bothers him that he cooperated. And he wants to tell his side of the story. You could see how it bothers him. In his mind, he thinks it discredits all the work he did for the mob. He thinks I did all that work, a loyal guy for the mob, and I get so discredited because I cooperated. So my belief is, if I'm analyzing it, is that it bothers him so much inside that he wants to be known as that loyal guy, the loyal money maker, that loyal earner. He wants to be known as that true blue guy. And I think he was motivated to go on YouTube and do a channel to say, hey, I was the best gangster out there. Things just fell apart. Things just fell apart. And that's why he's doing his channel. But I believe he's a dangerous guy. In the right situation, he's a dangerous guy. He's a dangerous guy. I think if you push his buttons worse, even Joey Merlino, I think don't push Dom's buttons. I know he grandstands and it's entertainment and he always gets riled up and everything else. But underneath there in that mind, even if he's gonna do a MOBTUBE soap opera, there is a little imbalance. No, not to insult though, but there's you know, when his mind is set, he'll see red, he'll see snakes, he'll see he'll see whatever he sees. And I'm saying he'd be the first one to do something crazy if it ever came to that point. I'm just saying he'd be the first one because as far as the streets were going and work, now Joey Merlino came up in that family. Joey Merlino came up in that family, and maybe he did a certain amount of work with that for this or that. But when a crew's got a guy like Dom CiCALE, that you could tell him to do anything under the sun, and he's gonna say, "Ride 'em, cowboy, let's go rock and roll." So I mean, he's way more gung ho, in my opinion, to for whatever kind of acts he's got to perpetrate on people. Oh, he's way more gung ho on that, way more. Not to say that Joey Merlino was never, but I think he's elevated a little. I mean, that's all. And I think it bothered him that he cooperated. And he believes that of course, you cooperated, so that should discredit all the work you've done for the family. But it really doesn't. You know how much money people made on his actions? How much money people made off of his bravado and whatever work he did? All them people, all you knew you wanted to get it done, just call Dom. Just call Dom. Just like my godfather. You want to get something done, just call him. It's done. It ain't, well, something happened, the light turned red, the guy moved. No. It ain't it ain't like that. It ain't like that. You know, when you say it's done, it's done. He'd be a reliable guy. But what happened, the downfall of it all, it just crashed. The mob crashed. And then that's what happened. That's what happened. Those Mamalukes that were the bosses and captains and all that, I can't stand to even look at their pictures. I can't even stand to look at their pictures. Dom said, "What?" And they're ratting on him. They were all, he knew the playing field. He knew the playing field. Them people knew all the work that Dom did. He had to play chess. At the moment of truth, Dom CiCALE had to play chess. They're going to have witnesses and conspirators from who knows where, families and in the streets, that are all going to come back, and they're going to hand Dom CiCALE a 20-count indictment on everything under the sun. He was smart enough to handicap that. He was smart enough to see that and predict it and calculate that. For those disgraziadas that he made a ton of money for, I look at those Mamalukes pictures. Dom CiCALE, you're 100% correct for what you did. I've talked a lot of smack about rats and cooperation, but I said there was different levels of ratdom, different levels than a guy that just decides and he ain't looking at, there's a rat that's looking at 3 to 5 years, and then a guy rats. And then there's other rats that are looking at 7 to 12 years, and they rat, But the way that was going on during that historical period of time was when they come for Dom, they ain't coming for some conspiracy or some assault or some smash. They're coming, and he's going away forever. He's going away forever. This ain't checkers. This ain't, they're going to come. So he's smart. He's cerebral on that. He's smart. He can look at the picture and analyze what the hell is going on. And he said, for those guys, And what happened when he went in jail? I don't want to discuss what happened when he did time for them before. before. We didn't even bring that. What about when he was loyal and didn't rap before? He was a teenager. He was a teenager. And then when he had accumulated some wealth, a little wealth, he had accumulated something on the hustle, then what? They robbed everything he had. These are your loyal members of your family. They robbed everything he had. They robbed everything he had. So when you look at this picture, he said, screw this. He ain't got a friend anywhere. They robbed everything else. And there's some other things we're not going to discuss here, which you probably might already heard of before, but we're not going to do that because there's no value to it. But bad, just bad, as dirty and bad as you can get. Dirty as bad as you can get. He's sitting in the pen going, what? They're telling him, his close people are telling him, what? He's going, what? I'm in here for them guys. I was loyal to these bums that threw me under the bus. And now when I get out of prison, I'm going to be broke on top of it. I don't even know if I'm going to have my spouse with me anymore. What? That's what happened. I like to look at things from a different lens, a different perspective, but those are the factual stuff. I mean, what I've gathered here or there, that's what happened. So people could say what they want about Dom CiCALE, but under them circumstances, I'm surprised he didn't rat sooner. I'm surprised he didn't rat sooner. Jeez. I'm surprised he didn't give up the freaking mailman. As far as that goes. So this dude was a rough house, hardcore, true blue guy. Well, he was the only rat from the banana fat. Who cares? Look what they did to the guy. Like they could give two craps. And he was handing money up, handing money up, handing money up. You can imagine him sitting in prison. Who knows how much money he hustled and handed up to them guys. And then he hears what's going on with his assets and maybe people that are close to him. I don't know, maybe a spouse or a girlfriend. I don't know, but alleged or whatever. But so I don't imagine if he still had his spouse when he got out and he didn't have any of his money or anything. They grabbed it all. They told him rot. More or less like, what a sucker you are. What a sucker you are, bro. You did everything we wanted to do. You got pinched. You went away. We grabbed everything. And I don't know if there was a fear. I don't want to go there and be a cutie pie or something. But somebody said that, I don't know, who the women were involved, if whatever. Well, if there was a girlfriend or a wife that did it, she was no good anyways. If somebody betrayed him while he was in there, because she was living high off the hog. Then if they robbed everybody, then the gangster over there looks a little more handsomer tomorrow, So she wasn't worth nothing if that was the case. No disrespect. But if that was her behavior, she was a pig in the street anyways. But if that was the case, no disrespect. But they're so in love, like a Harlequin romance novel. They're so in love, and yeah, I love you to the end. He gets pinched, goes away. He has nothing left, and then maybe the spouse isn't even faithful. So she was a $2 hole anyways, but I don't know the history or anything like that, because maybe some girls can change. I hope you didn't marry one of them. I hope she's not your current wife, but no, forgive me, but that's what I'm looking at. And I've been very animated about talking a little smack about Dom, but I'm not stupid. I'm not stupid when you're looking at look at things. I saw even when I was in Long Island or Brooklyn or something, and somebody would say, and this was toward the end of the early regime, maybe a generation, 2 generations removed, 2 generations removed. And I used to hear some of these guys high level talk. I told Sam, it's all over this thing, our thing, your thing, this thing, yeah, blah, blah. It's over. These are the guys that are holding power. What? He said, just keep your mouth shut. Don't try to get goofy, in this, and wherever we're hanging out. Don't get goofy. But my cousin, he said, Joe, of course. He said, I thought you were going to say something, and, but I know I'm not going to be stupid. I made those mistakes so many times. No, but it was just like, what's this, the future? Here's this future boss of over here. Here's this guy over here. Mama Luke's sketched out, and none of them could be trusted. None of them. That's why I tell you guys, there were shadow men that ran parallel. They didn't want to be connected to those 5 families, wealthy people doing certain deals. They didn't want to, because when somebody in that family, you're connected to a Lucchese, Genovese, Bonanno, Colombo, Gambino, you're a co-conspirator with them. If you have a cup of coffee and talk about somebody and this and that, now you're totally in with that family. They didn't want to know nothing about being in that fraternity. They knew all the clowns and rats that were running around. They already knew that infestation occurred. But the mob owned them streets, and you got to play a little ball with them to get government contracts for construction, certain types of urban renewal things, high money projects. So you still have to have some players in there. You don't owe them nothing. Ain't no boss of one of them families gonna tell Vic or my godfather or some of these other shadow government type of people, shadow mob, shadow government people. They ain't gonna say anything. They're not going to say anything because they're going to get contracts and benefit on some whatever. They're going to get a little piece of the pie. They're going to get a little piece of the action, but they don't answer to them. They completely don't answer to them. They just don't. They don't have to answer to them, and nothing is said, nothing is uttered, and they don't, so that's the way that just like the cartels in Harlem when they were bringing all that stuff in, and of course they dealt a little with each other, but it wasn't like the mob or like back down. They just make a little agreement because them cartels will bring an army in, the Sicilians will bring an army in, and you're just going to have blood in the streets everywhere. You're just going to have insanity. You're not going to be able to sell your product. You got to make sales. You got to do your whatever they're selling, the drugs and everything. So you got to be smart about it. Like, my army is bigger than your army. No, you go ahead and do your stuff over here, and then we'll do our hustle over here, and coexist. Why be stupid and take everything down? So, and there's a lot of controversy you hear about all of that kind of stuff, but they were friends with them guys. My godfather knew them guys in Bronx and Harlem and all that. He knew all of that, whatever, how that was. There was so much money to go around. Why be stupid? There might have been isolated conflicts or something like that, but under the radar. But don't ruin that hustle. Don't ruin that hustle. And when that crack came out, when that crack came out, them gangsters were building mansions all over the place. Geez, their 401k plan went through the roof. So, yeah, thank you, everybody in here, Anthony, Joel, Quantum, all that. Yeah. Well, who else was in here? I missed somebody. Oh, Michael K. Where the hell did you come? Oh, Damon Walker, Quantum Effect, Bonzo. Yeah. So I just wanted to state a little about when you're looking at the MOBTUBE and the gangsters, even outside of MOBTUBE and what Dom CiCALE's motives were, even what his motives were and what he was looking at, from his own perspective. Lee Montoya, how's it going? I did my time, I did my hour and everything. There's the super chat, there's the Cash App, there's the like button. Thank you everybody that come in here and joined in. And um we'll do, I come on all the time. So I appreciate everybody's support. And there's a link in the book to whatever, the link in the description to the book and everything else if you want to throw a cup of coffee down my throat. Thanks a lot, folks. God bless you all. Stay tuned. Thank you, Anthony Vigil, for coming in, new guy. And I'll talk to you then. Thanks a lot.